seasons. Wow, it is. I forget.
Well,
I forget sometimes how like sunrise happens earlier, the further
in
north
the
you
summer.
are in like the summer.
Well, it is bright out here now. I just haven't noticed the sunrise. But yeah. No, I remember that used to be a thing when I would go and visit family in Ireland, because Ireland is up that far north in terms of latitudes as well. And I remember I would just always be pissed off because it'd be like 9:30 and the sun would be out, and they'd be like, "It's time for you to go to bed because you're a little kid and you need to go to bed before 10." I'm like, this is bullshit.
It's still sun.
I'm going to, like, yeah, like, you're putting me in bed and you're closing the blinds, but I can still see the sunlight through there. It's ridiculous. The dignity.
Of course,
All
of
right.
course, those places pay for it when it's not summertime, it being darker for longer.
I imagine there's some bitter trade-off they have to make. Oh, that's right. Everybody's out doing something, so they're all striving to be number one. So I guess I should let them do it.
What an ringing endorsement. They're all striving to be number one, so fuck it, fine.
I'll let them. Yeah, whatever. Go be number
You
one.
keeping that IL-14 for like as like legacy for like where you came from?
I plan on putting those in the Middle Eastern and African routes later, because I'm never going to fill those planes regardless, and they are more efficient than. Yeah, just for completion of regions.
I still like the idea. I feel like legacy. Like, yes, this is where we came from, my son.
Yes, I'm gonna put them in our museum.
The ample experience wet dick museum.
Why would I put airplanes in an ample experienced wet dick museum?
Why
That's clearly a place where you put ample experienced wet dicks.
Good news, everyone.
Le Air is opening. That is good news. Le Air is opening a route to like middle of nowhere Russia. That is good news. I'll take it.
Neat.
Oh lord, that's dead.
Led by incredible people like Bolt Vanderhuge and Crunch Buttsteak.
Damages continue to mount, but don't worry, they're still working on the airport expansion.
Thank the gods. How does Le Air have control over Paris still? Seriously.
What is Le Air doing flying into Paris? I can't believe it. Alright, so...
I remember back when you used to make money. Those were good times.
Really? I don't. It's been minutes. So many minutes. Since the prophets were here. I wish to have another visit from the prophets.
Korea started flying into Europe. Great. And also, in fucking Aerobiz Supersonic, it seems like it takes forever to establish, like it's like fucking like getting slots is like pulling teeth. Oh, hold on, let me just get this pissant number of slots, okay. Kind of build a route, I guess.
That's, part of that is... Are you talking about just the cinematics of it, or the fact that you have to do it so piecemeal?
It's so piecemeal, yeah. Whereas, you know, like, in the normal Aerobiz, it could just be like, BAM! 14! You know, another 14, BAM! Here's another 14, fuck you!
Some of that comes from the Beijingity of my airline. Nobody really wants to,
The Beijingity?
That's right. You didn't know that this route was the Beijingity. But it is. Look, you know exactly what I meant.
That's the purpose of language, to convey meaning. Just...
So, I consider this a success.
Beijingity. Oh, man.
You're the Beijingity, dog. Let's go ahead and open another route, Grimmeth. Let's do that, you and me.
Okay.
We're gonna fly planes between London and Athens. And in both cases,
Athens,
I
Georgia.
wanted to say Atlanta. I wanted to say from Atlanta to Atlanta, but no. Thank goodness I'm not getting punchy, or else this game would be really difficult.
How much Beijingity is there on this route?
All of our routes are Beijingity, or have Beijingity.
How much
because
percentage
we're
of
a
Beijingity? Like, is there like a scale of Beijingity?
Look, if you don't like the way I work it, it's because of the Beijingity. I understand that.
Like, is this word as malleable as fuck? Like, can you like use it as like all words? Beijingity
I mean,
is
I'm
an
not.
adverb. Beijingity is an adjective. Beijingity is a preposition. Beijingity.
I'm using it for a very specific meaning. It is the I'm using it to mean it is the attribute of being based out of Beijing. It is the Beijingity of my airline. That is the problem that it has with slow negotiations.
Right.
We have poor relations with most countries, but not so poor that they completely out and out ban us. So it just takes a long time. There's a lot of coaxing that goes into this.
Why did you see the purpose in defining your meaning? I said I got it.
Because there's still people in the chat.
So...
I just remembered that, by the way.
That's good.
Hey everybody in the chat, are you enjoying this long live stream? It's a monster. Oh shit, I got those slots in Tokyo. I should probably use them.
He's Boba the Vulture. I'm Grimmeth. We're sort of killing time here at Aerobiz until JG comes and relieves Bobo so he can take his Beijingity ass to bed.
No, my ass is not based out of Beijing. I don't understand how you would use that. That's why I keep having to explain it. I feel like it's being used improperly. I'm the Beijingity police. I gotta make sure that this term is used the way it's meant to be used.
I'm the Beijingity police. Oh god, I'm so tired. This is so funny.
Alright. Where should I bid for slots, Grimace?
Why? It's not like you'll get many anyway.
What? Well, it's a very careful process. We have to go slow.
I'm having trouble breathing now. Well,
I say Rome. How's that?
all right. What places are available that are like untapped and have like good tourism econ ratings that can like give you some passengers? I know like Athens has like a route made to it, so.
Athens already has a route. I built one just because it's still one of the better inter-European routes.
Right.
Air is trying to get into into Rome. They're not there yet.
Okay, so you'll have to, understandably, that you'll have to confront. Can you do a route from like New York to Los Angeles? Would that be of profit?
I am already in negotiations to get that going, but thanks to a certain attribute of my airline, it's going to take a few quarters.
Right. Are there any other profitable like routes to be had intra-regionally in North America?
In North America, sure.
That
all of the routes in North America are somewhat profitable.
But would they be more worthwhile than anything you could build from like London to?
You know, these routes are going to be cheaper, so it does have that going for it.
And
like Florida, you can, hang on a second. I'm sorry, I didn't mean for that to sound quite that creepy. Hang on.
Lip dick of North America. Wait a second.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah, you're gonna have to wait a bit for Honolulu.
Nobody's getting to Honolulu. No luau's for anyone.
Well, they'll have to take like a charter flight or something.
Yeah, but like Miami, it's you can't put a lot of flights on it, but you'll fill a couple planes because it's a nice tourist destination. Oh, right, yeah. I didn't mean for you to start a flight.
Let's see here. Reading the chat here. I will Bajingity, your ample skilled wet dick. Wanna go get Bajingity? Have you taken the Bajingity out for a walk yet?
See, this is gonna take a whole year to get 5 slots.
In Miami, God, why don't they respect your Chinese negotiators?
I don't know. At that point, I'm wondering, would I be better off just flying to Seattle or Vancouver?
Would it take just as long?
I don't know. It would. It'd be a longer route, so I'd get more profit out of it. Provided, let's see, 20,
No.
30.
Now, does longer doesn't always translate into more profit, but it certainly does help, right?
Basically per seat sold, you get to charge a higher rate for all of them.
Like Miami's a stronger city in regards to its econ and tourism than Vancouver, Seattle are.
It's definitely stronger in tourism. In econ,
I mean, I guess it is Miami in the 50s, so it's a bit different than Miami later on. Alright, econ's the same. Tourism's only like 8 points higher. And the population's lower, too. It's 200,000 in Miami. Okay, so... Shoot. I guess you could just go for route length, then.
I mean, I'll probably end up getting both of them in the end.
Well, that's assuming that you manage to turn that expense back into a profit.
Well, that's not burning away at me so fast that I would completely lose all of my money. Besides, you're forgetting about bankruptcy hacksaws. I'm not counting on that. I'm not counting on it.
Yeah, I can tell. I can tell. Yeah, not worried about it at all.
I'm doing fine. I just this is an airline. We need runway. We need a little bit of runway. Get ourselves going.
Sure. Korea ordered some 1049s. Neat.
Layers going into negotiations with Athens. The pyrotechnics are still happening in the oceans that indicate that Middle East War II is still going on.
Southeast Asia?
Well, wouldn't that be great for somebody that just set up a route to Tokyo?
Wouldn't know who that'd be.
I mean, it's possible Koreans done that.
Get your Beijingity ass to Tokyo and back.
It's going to be my new ad campaign. Oh, fuck. Everybody's carrying so many more passengers than I am.
Oh, hey. You could buy 1/4 of a Lockheed now.
Geez, Metlink is almost up to half a Lockheed. This is bad news.
And their bar is smaller than yours.
Yes. That's that good American route money.
That's that good lower overhead.
Well, yes, there's all.
Oh, Tehran and Karachi. Oh man.
Stop the presses. Hold the phone. Do all those things. Now let's see here. Is everything bumped up to 100 in this region, or is it just okay?
It's just
they'll have a slight
like
boost.
an overall increase in tourism.
Yeah, it's a slight tourism.
At 47, Beijing's not the worst city to visit now.
Well then. People like to travel between Beijing and Tokyo a lot more than I would have thought.
Well,
we can't do a damn thing about it right now because everybody's still in negotiations.
I remember the power to pull people off of places in the original game.
Well, it wouldn't... I would almost just give them the extra quarter at this point because I feel like negotiations in Tokyo would still take a while.
Remember, by the time you got the slots, like, the tourism boom is going to be gone.
Well, there's that too, but I mean, like, even generally speaking, I should probably just put another plane on this route. Do I have another one just sitting around? Sure I do. Let's change this flight. And Beijing to Tokyo is still actually not filling up. So, or Beijing to Cairo. And neither is Beijing to Bangkok, despite this boom in tourism. London, New York, only half full. Did our competitors drop their rates? Nope. And they're still filling up planes. Well, son of a bitch, huh? Well, what the fuck are they doing? Filling up even bigger super constellations. More of them a week. Fine. I'll undercut everybody. How's that?
Oh. Yeah, how you looking like an owl, asshole? Huh.
Oh, look at that. See, that's beautiful. We gotta get another flight in there.
Get your Beijingity ass in there.
Everyone, bring your Beijingity asses on down.
Well, you'd be bringing them on up and then back down.
Bazia, this game does have a win state and an end date.
It has a win state,
let's...
it has a fail state, and then has a no one won state.
Let's go to the peace sign and look at the conditions. We need to have a hub in every region, that is North America, South America, Europe, Africa, the Middle East, Southeast Asia, and Oceania. We need to be #1 in passengers for the year in our home region, which is Southeast Asia. We need to be #1 in passengers in 6 regions, and we need to have an overall profit for that year.
Now, being #1 in passengers in 6 regions is a lovely little... Bobo's used to playing this game at a higher difficulty, when the game's like, oh no, you will be #1 in passengers, motherfucker.
It'll be #1 everywhere. Have to be #1 in all regions. I guess in this one, we could slack off and not do... one.
You could be like, yeah, I'm never gonna really win, like Europe or North America, but I'm still there.
Yeah. So there you go. Yeah, so that's what we're doing. We are gonna just business our little hearts out here.
Business our little bajingity hearts out here.
You keep using that word.
I think it means what I think it means.
You think it means what you think it
means?
Yes.
Yeah, that's correct.
You know, I can't say it's not correct. You do think it means what you think it means.
Good. I'm glad we've come to
And what I am is what I am, and what you are or what you are.
What you are or what you are?
That's right.
Fascinating. Can I get some ketchup with that?
You can get some ketchup with my song lyrics, absolutely.
Oh man, that and bajingity are perhaps the 2 greatest things. Probably the only 2 things I'll remember once it's all said and done.
God, I hope not. Imagine how much time you've had to invest for such tiny memories.
Don't you call my memories tiny? You size queen.
Size queen. That's a new one on me.
Oh.
I like it, but it's a new one on me.
Bobo the Vulture quotes, I like it when referred to being a size queen. 2 S's.
Let's keep some planes in stock.
Good on you for focusing on what really matters here.
Yes. Well,
DC-6s.
Well, I mean, I gotta keep them. Gotta keep them. My dick cock 6s. There, see? It's all poopy and lewd.
Whoa! I don't think you've ever been those profane in any of your videos. This is
dick cock? Oh my god.
This is obscene.
Oh, absolutely. Next I'm going to say poopy again. Oh lord. It just happened. Alright.
Big bone.
Damn it.
Big boned memories. That's right, a thing.
Oh no, my foul language is what's keeping the Middle East war from stopping.
No, shoot to maim. I will remember nothing from Scribble Nuts. Nothing.
Oh.
Other than the amazing power of matches and exotic dances.
All problems can be solved by immolating them.
God, I loved it when you set that old man's lawn on fire and set his house on fire. That was great.
So I'm like, all right, let's let go of the match. Damn it.
Well,
Maxwell's so damn clumsy.
and he's the worst person to give a notebook like that.
Yeah.
Almost making as much money as Metlink.
Oh man, I'm almost making a DC-6
I know you're making over half a Lockheed per turn.
And Boeing's already getting into jets. Well, guess what? I'm not buying any of those anytime
the
soon.
B707 120. Let's see here. Range for 180, seats at 140.
It has a decent seating capacity. If I remember, the fuel consumption on that one was a little dicey.
I don't know the fuel consumption right now, but I knew, though, the price is over double that of a Lockheed.
Yeah.
42 million. That's not counting the price hike that you'd face.
Well, yes. Although now I get a nice, frequent buyer discount.
Not from Boeing.
Right? Oh yeah, well, yeah, I know. Yeah, you're right. I'm getting things confused in my mind. Boeing buys up McDonnell Douglas's civilian airplane operations, but that's not until
confused in your stomach.
I'm kind of confused in my stomach. I haven't had a lot to eat. I've been getting handfuls of peanuts here and there just to have some protein, but oh geez, we got to get some more flights going into Tokyo. People love it. See, we have 8 already, so we can't quite fill up, but alright. See? 9 months. Their stupid Japanity doesn't blend with my Beijingity.
Japanity, huh?
Oh, the Japanity. Got all these slots just sitting, waiting. Just ready to be used. Yep, it's pretty gross. That's what's gonna happen.
Why won't you use them, Bobo? They want to be used.
I mean, some of these, they want to be used by me. But that's just can't happen until, you know, we cross over that barrier, the threshold of what it means to be an airline from where this airline is from. So, you guys negotiated for slots, did you just end up deciding not to use them? Come on.
Come on!
Actually, no, let's not do this. I've changed my mind. Need to go back and take a quick look at how the Athens route is doing. Yeah, we need more slots in the Athens route. That will be a cheaper way to increase our funds without starting in a whole new one. Let's see, so we have 5. Okay, good. This will get us full up. We can send as many planes as we want. Well, as long as we only want to send 14. We can send as many planes
as long as you only want to send 14 planes, huh?
Yeah.
Jesus.
14 flights a week.
Think you need 14 planes for 14 flights a week?
Oh, we like to keep them cool.
Wow, like one plane for like flight a week. Good God, man.
We don't like to overuse our
2 planes per
stuff.
Whatever.
Our stuff.
Yeah, that's amazing descriptive powers from you.
Our assets? Sure, our assets. And have like the Parthenon on the screen for Athens. Oh yeah. Well, no, the Parthenon has to be moved from tourist destination to tourist destination for that group photo of all the world's.
Yeah,
all the world's landmarks. It's in Southeast Asia right now because that's experiencing a boom in tourism. Now then, I don't have any dudes to send out for jobs, right? So let's have a meeting. Why not?
Yay, meeting.
Everybody, you can read this because I don't have goofy voices for everybody. Let's conduct the meeting.
First, let's discuss opening new rounds.
Wow, that was Cookie Monster.
How about a round between New York and Chicago?
That's not the worst idea.
Or between Cairo and Algiers would be good.
That is.
Here to help ruin your business, sir.
Oh man, it's the salaryman.
You'll want to establish service between Beijing and the Middle East, of course. How about Tehran?
Nothing bad's ever happened from basic flights out of there.
Not at all. No.
Next, let's discuss adjusting existing routes.
You are so brave to be doing this.
All of our flights are profitable, but shall we fine-tune them to maximize profits?
No. I don't want to go through every flight. Let's discuss our plane holdings.
Our
Let's
amazing
talk it out.
plane holdings of plane.
Wait, we just said I have 14 planes that I'm flying just to one city. That was clearly a thing that I said that wasn't actually happening.
Neat.
That is the neatest.
Absolutely the neatest. Cannot refute that at all.
Sure, let's discuss some business ventures.
Alright. Okay.
Our 2 grand hotels are making up the majority of our total company profits.
You know, it's a good thing you invested into those, right?
Yep.
Best
One day.
decision ever. Now, Bobo, I might be about to spook you here. Oh, maybe I'm not about to spook you.
Spook? What's
Yes.
what's happening?
Nothing yet.
Oh dear.
That's right. Now, I haven't really used this before, so you'll have to tell me how it is. I switched to my headset microphone. This is my first time using it.
Yes. I still hear it. It's perfectly fine.
Fantastic. I'm so glad.
It's functioning.
That's
You
great.
can now use this, and if you fall backwards asleep,
Well, I have a hard chair, so there's no falling back for me. It's pretty fucking solid metal. There's no falling back.
all right.
I'm noticing that this headset microphone has a quality where I get to hear myself talk, sort of like it amplifies my own voice. Neat.
Do you actually consider that neat?
It's different. You know, I'm so used to hearing myself anyway, right?
I suppose. Are you hearing any delay on what you yourself say?
No, it's like it's amplifying my own sound for me. It's like, here, he might not be able to hear himself talk. That tends to be a problem for people whenever they're fucking having a headset on. So here you go.
Well, that's not too bad.
Yeah, it'll be great.
Okay.
I'm exploring new features. I plugged in a USB extender, and with the Skype window fully maximized, now Grimace is going to use his amazing powers here to lay on his bed and watch the game.
Oh,
That's right.
this is getting hot. My gosh, I gotta fan myself.
I haven't done this in a Skype call for so long, Bobo. It's amazing.
Well,
and you've
I'm
got
glad to be your
super
first
sexy
back.
headset, Grimace. It's been the first time I've used a headset microphone in so long.
Oh, my lord. My word.
Although I do have a convenient mute option.
Yes. If things get to be too much for you and you're about to swoon, you can mute your gasps.
Yes.
Of,
I just tested it out, and it seems that you can't hear me whenever I have it muted, so that's great. Oh my goodness, look at that profit. You outdid Medlink by a whole $50,000.
You know what, Grimmeth? We strove And now we are the #1 airline.
That's it. Number 1.
#1.
Game over.
Calling it now.
I want out. Sell.
Game over,
Sell.
girl.
Just fucking sell.
This is it. There's no more.
No, the only
As
problem
good as
I
it is.
have is chat participation. Who am I kidding? That's not a problem.
You've got a phone. You could roll up the hitbox chat if you really
I
wanted
have a
to.
flip phone, like a track phone. It's not gonna be logging onto Hitbox.
No, okay.
Yeah. Although, it is a replacement. I did have a almost 6-year phone, but thanks to my years of loyal service, TrackPhone sent me a new phone for free. Because they were removing all of the old, like, 2G towers, so my phone would no longer be supported. Ah. Send me a new one at no cost.
Wait, is this literally going to wipe me out?
No! No, you'll have money.
Let's see.
Yeah, you'll get money. I mean...
Oh, never mind. No, I was misreading my columns there. This will take 1/10 of my money.
I was about to say, like, Jesus, the flight from New York to LA being the most costly route you've ever set up.
This will decimate my funds.
Son of a bitch! Those Hollywood bastards.
Oh my god, but look at this. If we can do anywhere near as well as they are, which we can't. But if we could.
If we weren't so bejingity, we could make the dreams come true.
Let's set up an average fare. Let's go ahead and open the route and see what happens. Oh, thank God. I forgot for a second I was playing the Genesis version.
And glad I could be a friend for you.
Okay, let's...
If I would I know your name.
Oh, see, these planes, they're I guess they're probably about as much as they used to ever be, but
Well,
they're cheapish.
well,
They're cheapish in comparison to other planes.
I suppose the 14 million's a nice price tag, yeah. I don't remember what it was for you at the start, though. I think it was higher than that. I don't remember, like, you've played more Supersonic than I have.
It was 19.
Okay. And the Lockheeds were, like, in the
24.
Okay.
Oh, come on. Don't tell me you don't remember your, oh, damn it.
My POL.
Your POL. Thank you. I could not remember the proper abbreviation. You don't remember your POL?
Don't tell me you can't remember this thing I can't remember.
You can't remember your damn it.
Sorry, I only have enough room for bejingity and...
Let's see. So who will bid for slots?
And,
Who will do it?
and Scribblenauts Wet Deck.
Scribblenauts Wet Deck.
Still so tickled that actually popped out. Something.
You're so tickled that the wet dick popped out.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, just type in wet dick on a lark, see what happens. Like this soaking wet, like, private eye, straight from the 1920s, just says, hello.
I may actually want to buy more planes.
Well, slow down. There could be a sale next turn.
There could be. But, yeah, okay. Okay.
Just reminding you of your normal cautious nature. It's like saying, JG, I know if you don't restart, you not completing this optional objective is going to eat at your soul.
That's true. If I'm not going to have enough slots to make that worthwhile. To make having that many extra planes.
Besides, having all the planes sit around, that has to raise your expenses a little bit, just like maintaining them, even if they're not flying.
Well, right now I don't actually have any sitting around, other than my legacy planes.
Right, well, but if you bought more, like, you wouldn't be able to put them to work immediately, right?
Well, I was planning on trying to just put them on in between London and New York, because that route has has bounced back. So I was gonna do that, but
well, that money, it would still make you a profit more so than you hoping for a sale. I think it's a reasonable idea for you to buy more airplanes. I thought you were just gonna have them sitting around. I
Well,
forgot
but the
that you had more available slots.
yeah. Well, the issue I'm going to run into now is that I'm about to have this Vancouver route ready to go, and that's going to eat up a bunch of the remaining slots I have in New York City.
That's true. Are you going to use 5? Like, how many are you going to use out of New York? 2?
I could probably at least get another plane or 2 in there.
Okay.
You're right. Let's see. Although,
I'm glad I was right, and then whenever I changed my opinion I gave to you, I'm still right.
all right. And there's 2 red planes because I already ordered 4.
That's 4 red planes, honey.
I don't even remember what number I said.
You said 2 red planes.
Oh, they were coming 2 by 2.
They
They
were covered in ketchup, so that's how you knew
that they were red.
Oh, New York and
You know,
Los
come
Angeles.
to think of it, I've never actually changed the default color from red for my own airline. I wonder if those airplanes would be something other than red if I did that, or if they're just always red.
Presumably so. I thought I changed my color before we'll play Aerobiz Supersonic.
I mean, I know it's an option. I just never bothered to because.
Oh, hey, Middle East War 2. Neat. That's what it's officially called in the history books, folks. Middle East War 2.
Middle East War 2.
Middle East War the Second, Esquire, Junior.
Middle East War S. Preston.
Yes, dude, they're making another one.
Yeah.
My brother told me that last year.
I like how you hushed down as though you're telling me this terrible secret.
It's not terrible. It's awesome. I love those movies.
Yes. Man. That was one instance where, and it's not that common, but where the sequel is every bit as good as the first one, possibly better, depending on what it is you're looking for in the movie.
Bogus Journey's a little rough around the edges towards the end, but I think it holds up. Well,
everybody's having a brawl in Europe, but we are number 1 there. Wow.
We're number 1 in Europe, you say? Fascinating, yes. Because it totally
looking at the color codes.
Oh, good. The B707 120. You could totally cheat on DC.
I could, and it would be the best idea ever.
Oh, Korea started flying into Africa and North America. Those assholes, how dare they not recognize and respect our divine Bajingity.
That's right. Divine Bajingity is what all heroes of the chaos could hope to have.
Like She-Grimmett with his little adorbs hat.
Oh, it was the cutest hat.
I am sad that during my shower I missed what the game acclaimed was She-Grimmett's most successful mission that you played.
Yes. Well, sorry about all that, but sometimes business just has to be taken care of, and
so
I gotta step in.
Didn't get a chance to ask you, what all did you eat for your birthday supper?
Oh, it was just we had pork tenderloin that was in the slow cooker with a mustard sauce.
Okay.
And just boiled some broccoli. It was not it was good. It was good eats. It wasn't some kind of elaborate feast or anything. But,
broccoli does seem a little light, especially with a slow broiled pork tenderloin. Nothing too heavy for you to have in your stomach. Perhaps to make you be sleepy for during this broadcast.
Oh no, there was no special dietary plan for that. Maybe there should have been. But there was not. We just pretty much were just like, what food can we make?
Well, I also noticed that you've just been snacking on fucking peanuts instead of consuming much in the way of sugary beverage or sugary food.
Oh well, I'm on the low to no carb diet. I have no sugars whatsoever. Get the carbohydrates out entirely. It's all just proteins and fats.
You don't consume much in the way even of natural sugars?
No, I mean, there's
You leave fruit alone? You give fruit the
Yeah.
middle finger? Okay.
leave away the fruits, leave away fruits, leave away grains. I mean, they digest into approximately the same compounds.
Sure.
But yeah, no, there's
How long you been doing that?
since about October,
Okay.
and yeah.
Considering
There's-
that you've been sticking with it, that you feel better, you feel as if it's like a good adjustment for you?
I don't necessarily feel specifically different in my daily life, but I've lost 50 pounds.
Well,
But, like-
losing 50 pounds should make you feel like different, just as a matter of like natural course. Like it's less pressure on your body, right?
Yeah, in theory it should, but maybe it's just also being counteracted at the same time by the aging process, so that I'm just feeling more weary and creaky just from the natural passage of time.
Perhaps so.
Alright, and I'm gonna need some more slots in London. Actually, I'm gonna need some more slots in New York too. I'm gonna need more slots everywhere, because we just need... Oh, well, I'm already asking for more slots in New York, so good.
You sure are. It's thankfully you haven't hit like the cap that a non-home city can have, which is like a quarter of the like the slots available a non-home city can get. Like what's the cap that I forget.
Oh, I don't even...
Okay.
I realized that there was one. I think it might be... Yeah, that sounds about right.
I mean, like that's again like you know Supersonic better than I do.
Yeah, which is funny because so much of what I do in it is still largely intuition as opposed to actual study.
Well, I mean, there's certainly differences in how people can play like strategy and tactical games. There's folks who would micromanage and play the numbers games, and then there's folks who just fucking, have those gut instincts and will go for it. And,
Yeah,
and you have all of that you built in from like your experiences playing the game in your younger years.
somewhat younger. No, I guess I've been playing this off and on for a while now. Because yeah, now that you mentioned it, I did an LP of it at least 5 years ago. God, 5 years ago?
Oh well,
Possibly longer.
well, it's been over that. It's closing in on 6 years. Your first series of it, that I didn't catch until after the fact. I saw your channel in January of
Yes.
2011.
Jeez, was 2011 when I started doing all this?
You like you started doing this in
I don't
2010.
even know my own history. Dear Lord.
I mean, like
Yeah,
your
2010.
your channel came up in like fall 2009, I think, and like your videos go back to 2010. I don't know whether you have anything before 2010.
No, The Legend of Kage was the first thing that I would have uploaded to any place, and the first thing I would have done anywhere, and that was the first
Same.
YouTube one.
Of course, you also had the was it Castle of Winds? I forget that.
Castle of the Winds, like
Yeah.
the Win 3.0 like era roguelike.
Yeah, those games.
Yes. The Hrungnir, yeah, that whole deal.
Then
Had those.
God, I wish I could remember the name of it right now. I know this. The game where you play like the slim secret agent guy as like a side scroller type game.
Oh, yeah, Codename Viper. It's a lot like Rolling Thunder, except...
Yes.
Oh, or maybe you were thinking about
I was
Rolling Thunder.
thinking of Rolling Thunder. Codename Viper though works just.
Codename Viper, the exact same game. I played that one before I ever played Rolling Thunder. It's like, well, that's pretty nice. And it was made later, so it was a little bit slicker. But, yeah. It was interesting to go back and see Rolling Thunder, and you can tell that it was... You can tell that one was designed for a home console where, like, it's challenging, but it's doable. And, Copenhagen is the hotspot for tourists, so the Arc de Triomphe and everything else is going to hang out there.
That's
Good.
amazing. Whoever's responsible for hauling all those national landmarks to visit these various cities, Copenhagen, huh? Remarkable.
Yes.
Yeah.
First, yes. No, let's. Oh, okay. 6 years. Well, all right. Master Reaper signing in with the 6 years ago timestamp.
Okay.
1,453 views, so it's not necessarily the most popular one I ever did. It's not the least popular. That is probably still something from somewhere in the middle there. Castle of the Winds.
I'm still proud of you paying attention to chat. Look at you. Oh, that profit bar.
Yeah.
Holy shit, you could almost buy an entire Lockheed.
No, I don't have a POL and profit this quarter, do I?
My god. Incredible.
God, yes. Carmen San Diego. Oh, okay, so Master Reaper's going to get a bite to eat. White bread and a pound of meat. Well, alright.
An entire... Shit.
That's going to be quite the hefty sandwich.
Puts the frosted flakes I've eaten this morning to help give me some extra energy to shame. Shit.
Let's see here. Okay, so somebody's tried to open up some ground in Africa and is paying
Korea,
for it with their money.
Was the one who was opening up in Africa.
Yeah. Now that is one thing about strategy games. They're like some that I will enjoy, but it has to be something that I sort of click with pretty well initially, because it is the kind of thing where, like, yes, I sort of just want to go by sort of the feel of the game. And if it's something that it's a subject matter that I'm interested in, or a presentation that I'm interested in...
So what helps you click with Aerobiz Supersonic? It's not as if you're intimately interested in airplanes like you are, say, automobiles.
Not as, but more than probably the average person.
I do notice that you do have, like, you have more knowledge about airplanes than I do.
Well, the vulture father, our dad.
Vulture dad, vulture father.
Yes, vulture dad, or the mysterious Papa G, whatever you want to call it. I don't know.
Sure.
He was an army pilot, in his younger to moderate.
Okay. And so just
years.
like being around him, just sort of like rub that off on you.
Well, yeah. We had like pictures of aircraft and like framed pictures of aircraft and stuff on the walls instead of like, landscapes or whatever it is that people would normally be decorating with. Those the aircraft identification like playing cards.
Yeah.
I guess they have them for like most wanted terrorists and things like that. They also have them for aircraft.
Okay.
So like you can tell an airplane by its silhouette if you're, from however far away. They give them to the pilots to play with. So we had like those decks of cards lying around to play with, and we go through all those.
Neat to play with, yes.
Yeah. And one of the maybe it was just a bigger thing, I feel like. I guess people still have them and people still do them, but it just seems like back in the earlier days of PCs, flight simulators were... Maybe it was just for us, but I felt like flight simulators were a bigger thing in general. Like, more people would be interested in those and play them.
Sure, it carried over from the arcade mentality. Our flight simulators were pretty popular.
Yeah. Well, and because having a joystick peripheral, for whatever reason, people were more willing to have, like, one of those and, like, a serial port plug-in one of those than they are to get a separate joystick for their console. I know a guy who, he's like he's a sibling of a close friend, and apparently he's really big into, like, flying games, but, like, all he's got is a PS2. And I'm like, shit, I don't even know if you can get, like, an aircraft-style joystick for PlayStation 2. And if you could, if there are any, like, really simulatory games for it.
I'm not that familiar with the PS2 library, so I couldn't say. Since I'm thinking about it, though, were you much of an arcade person? Did you spend time playing, like, say, like Space Harrier or, those full immersive, like, arcade machines that sort of, like, had that, like, full body experience?
A little bit, not so much, just because we never had like an allowance or anything, so we didn't have a lot of money to go out and spend.
Okay.
So, like, it's just not to say that, like, I grew up in some poor, terrible, privileged situation. It's just that, like, because if I asked my folks for some money for something, they would give me money. It's just I didn't have, like, some allowance to come in that I would then just sort of spend on just random frivolities, like go spend a few quarters at the arcade. I do remember one of the, like, early, like, strong memories of gaming was, like, a birthday party at a Chuck E. Cheese where they had one of those. I don't think it was a sit-down. It was just a stand-up, but it was still...
Okay.
It was an outrun machine with, like, wheels and pedals and all the rest of that stuff. And, like, when you're, like, somewhere under 10 years old, this is the only experience with that sort of a thing you've ever had. That's amazing. I mean, how could you dream of being able to control a car and move car-like controls and have, like, an actual response from a thing?
Sure.
Oh shit, that Vancouver route's doing really well too.
Yeah,
And
good
the
thing.
bottleneck is just New York.
Good thing we had that hard discussion about whether Miami, Seattle, or Vancouver was the best.
Well, we made the right call.
Well,
we made a right call.
I would
Maybe
say,
Miami
like,
is also
we made
good.
a right call, so long as, there's no regrets over the choice.
Let's see here. So, interesting. Bazia says PS2 had at least one travel airplane simulator that he remembers playing, but doesn't recall what it was called. Well, that's pretty interesting.
Well, Tiny Shopkeeper did, it might be for the original PlayStation. I have it sitting on, like, my entertainment cabinet. He decided to, from, like, a Japanese shop, he paid for it in yen. It came with, like, Japanese package wrapping. He decided to buy me, like, the Aerobiz that was released only in Japan, like, an updated
PS1
version.
one?
Yeah. Like, I looked at it before, like, in an ISO years back, and, like, whenever he sent me the gift, I pretty much scoffed, like, this is a gag gift. There's no way in hell I'm gonna learn Japanese if I can play this game. It's like, you could learn the controls. Look, there's so many other games out there right now, damn it. Why do I want to learn the shitty PS1 interface?
Honestly, that's the thing. Like, this is a game, and there are other, like management sims. They're kind of a fun genre, but it tends to have to be something that you're kind of interested in anyways. Like, like the game dev tycoon games obviously do really well because people that are playing video games are interested in video games. Who knew?
Which gets me back to my earlier query of, like, so, like, you made mention of, like, you being interested in management games to an extent. Like, Aerobiz Supersonic resonated with you because of your Vulture dad's connection with airplanes, then. And I presume then, because of your interest in that as well as cars, that you have an interest in the machinery.
A little bit, yeah. I'm not very good at actually doing anything constructive with machinery other than, like, sort of looking at it and being able to appreciate what it is. I'm not handy with it, which, would actually be a useful skill to have as relates to it. It's more of an enthusiasm than an actual working...
So is part of your interest in this game still because of your enthusiasm over the complex machinery that is airplanes?
I don't know if it's that. So, I mean, some of it is. Honestly, I find the whole concept of airplanes, like, I understand the basic concepts of the physics behind it. And, JG just sent me a text that said he is on his way over.
All right.
Also, apparently, the storage of my phone is almost full.
Oh.
Of course, it's going to take an hour for him to get here.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
It will take him a good while.
Which is why I had wondered, because I thought that you two lived so far apart. I was like, oof.
I mean, it's not like an airline flight, but, like, we live in the same metropolitan area, but it's a spread out metropolitan area, and we live on sort of not opposite ends of it, but, sort of if you were to,
Sure, I'll try to imagine what that's like. I've only visited larger areas, not lived in that kind of area.
Yeah. It's, there are really wonderful things about it and really terrible things about it. Like, it's the idea that, basically on any given evening, there could be something exciting that you could go out and find and do, and it would be, something that would be theoretically a world-class bit of entertainment for you to take in, whatever that was.
Sure, you do have that pleasure in a larger environment.
Sure. However, then you also have to deal with, well, everybody else also wants to be here, for one. For another, you're missing out on a certain amount of natural beauty. you're sort of sacrificing a lot of, sort of sense of personal space. Not necessarily that people like are close talkers or anything, but just that like no,
Right.
you don't really get to just sort of.
You could concede that outside of a metropolitan area, you'd have more room than a one-bedroom apartment, right?
Well, yes. Honestly, that's one of the things that
Oh.
Bean and I get into. It's not argument. Obviously, we both.
It just
we both
intense
agree, it's like,
discussions about like where you want to go.
yes, we need a little more than what we've got right here.
Oh,
of course.
Caravel. Oh boy.
That's right.
Along with
Getting
the
suits.
DC 830 making its maiden voyage.
And those are not bad. Lair and Metflink both starting to fly into Southeast Asia. Well, shit.
Okay.
And we only got 6 slots in New York. Thanks, New York.
Sure. So, what other strategy games do you enjoy? Like, I know that, say, Romance of the Three Kingdoms doesn't particularly resonate with you.
It doesn't, although I admit to being curious about 10, because it's one that you can just sort of pick yourself up as an individual person,
Yes, there is
as
that
opposed
feature.
to a manager of a giant force. Oh, jeez. We must be at the cap. It's going to be another year before we can get any more.
Yeah, because they're fucking remodeling. So that would take you up to 26 slots out of 72? That's not quite a quarter. Is that like... God, I can't do that math off the top of my head right now. I'm too tired.
Oh, I wouldn't have been able to do it anyway.
Is that like...
Oh.
Is that 40%? No. Ah, shit.
I could see where it would make sense that they wouldn't give anybody more than half.
Oh, like, especially because you wouldn't want, say, like, the home city, like, Metling, to be like, what the fuck is this shit? Alright, so, yeah, like...
Shit, I never kept any plans in reserve.
Well, we were too busy gabbing or whatever, which is...
I should save the game manually, because I'm pretty sure all my save states here are all taken up with that other scenario that who knows I might get back to one day.
I mean, I guess you might.
Oh wait, I saved that one too.
You saved it manually, I presume, just in case. Well, the other, you can have a no save.
I got another.
Yeah,
There you go. There you go. We're okay. No crisis.
All right.
But I guess part of it is like I guess just to I guess I get from here where it seems like you would be managing a global company. That seems like it would be a little bit complicated to be taking on, but at the same time it's pretty basic stuff. Somehow the giant grand global war strategy things just tend to be a little like it's like it seems like it's a little bit too much to get into. I have to establish everybody's tactics as well as their formations and whatever other sorts of things are going on.
Well,
plus they're all killing each other. That's terrible.
Oh, so when you KO X number of people in Dynasty Warriors, that's it's fine. They get back up.
Well, yes. Well, I mean, for one, as you say, they are being KO'd. And for another, I'm only having to worry about the one person doing the one thing. I mean, I guess in theory you're part of a larger strategy, a larger machine or whatever, but maybe I'm not a good leader of virtual men.
There could be that sort of an organizational quality. Take, say, Hearts of Iron 4, or any of the other, like, large scope strategy games that involve, like, a lot of war management, where you're managing troops on a... managing their formations, their morale, their supplies, their equipment, shit like that, whether it's like a Civil War type thing. It can be exhaustive, or you could also just say, this is what I'm gonna do, and fucking we'll just go from there. Like, there's different ways to play those types of games. Take, say, for example, there's someone I know who played Hearts of Iron 4 that they tackled Japan, and without unpausing the game, because it's like a real-time game, you pause as you go, spent 2.5 hours sort of planning the massive strategy and reorganizing all of the units before even passing a single hour in the game. 2.5 hours. Just studying Japan. And then you could just, like, play it and say, like, alright, this is what I'm gonna do in Japan. And I'll fucking change it as I go. Bam. So, with this style of game, though, I mean, I don't think you'd spend 2.5 hours, like, you might just spend 2.5 hours trying and failing, but sitting in a city going, where where the fuck do I go from here? Like,
Yeah.
how,
Like I do typically anytime I'm coming back to the game or starting from a city I don't usually go with or something else like that, I do tend to take like, 5 to 10 minutes at the very beginning just figuring out like, all right, how far is this city from that city? How far is this city from that
like
city?
we
So I
like
can
we
fly to this
did
city
with
without
like
flying. Yes.
measuring out Beijing to Tehran and Cairo and
Yeah, it'd be like if you had a compass and you were just like, all right, gonna wind it this far out. Okay, it takes that much. And if I draw around, okay. These cities don't fall in the circle. Well, all right, can't fly there. Fine. What was the other one? Oh yeah, I guess it was just thinking Koei games. But I've got PTO 2 over here that I just happened to find at like a yard sale.
I would not want to play the PTO2 cartridge. You have to play that on fast forward.
Yeah. Oh, see, well then maybe that's another part of it.
It's I would have you played Pacific Theater Operations 2 before?
Oh, I've never played any of the PTO games.
It's I would suggest if you're
I mean, like, if nothing else, I picked it up as an artifact,
right.
just because I'm like, hey.
If you're looking into seeing how the gameplay looks, effing controller.
Oh yeah, he's done a number of scenarios on that I've noticed, but
like I would recommend just like to get like an idea of like how the game setup works, but managing all the various fleets in the game is time consuming. It's the interface for it is poor. Koei does what it can. It really overloads the Super Nintendo cartridge, and as a result, the gameplay is sluggish as it's taxing the Super Nintendo cartridge. It goes on a day-to-day basis. The game itself, depending on how well you do against your opponent, could run for multiple years. During which time that you're managing and setting orders for all these things that are coming in. It's, as noted, it's time consuming. I played it before a bit last decade. Probably the last time I played it when I was like 19, 20. And also the AI for it is, well, let's just say that as Japan, if you're starting the game in a horrible spot, like in 44, or God forbid, in one of the scenarios in 45, you can still beat the shit out of America. It takes more work a bit, but you give it several months and America will have nothing left.
So a representative from New Zealand wants to talk to us.
Fascinating, New Zealand.
They're like, please, someone fly here.
Overdevelopment and pollution, huh?
Well, fine. Just next time developers show up, just say, you will not pass. You'll be perfectly fine.
No.
Yeah, we're not going to pass this project.
Yeah.
We need to improve relationship with the New Zealanders. We'll never get down there.
You know those New Zealand aircraft companies.
Yes. Well, also, we need to be able to cart the tall blacks around.
There is that.
Oh, those tall.
A name that just seems stranger than fiction. So I was like, well, what the hell? I'll pick it.
It all worked out.
Yeah. The tall blacks. Thanks,
okay,
buddies.
So
That's
another plane.
That's. There's a lot of opportunities for racist jokes there that I'm not making, and I don't know why.
Well, maybe you're growing up.
That.
Nope.
So, yeah, that's why I mentioned it. Like, the PTO2 cartridge itself, it's
Yes.
pretty...
That's why you mentioned the PTO cartridge.
Yes, it's, to go back to... It's sluggish. But, it is another Koei game. It's an example of their historical simulation series that they made up.
Yes. I know that Koei makes games that are not strategy games. I mean, obviously there's the Warriors games,
Sure.
but it does seem like, and I guess, I don't know, they're one of those companies that it seems like they seem to be at least somewhat aware that there is a market for the games they make outside of Japan, and yet they're pretty much perfectly content to just make games for Japan. And I suppose, you know what, you can't grudge them that. If that's what they want to do, that's what they can go ahead and do. There's not a whole lot of extra, like, I mean, you know, they'll have a whole version of, like, a really popular series, and they just won't bother to translate or export it. I mean, I guess those ones are a larger undertaking because of how text-heavy they must be, but...
Sure.
You know.
The strategy games are harder to port over only because their mechanics are more intricate and nuanced. Like, you need the player to be able to understand the impact of what it is that they're doing, whereas with an more action-oriented game, the text doesn't matter so fucking much. Like, you could pick up, say, Mega Man X, and it don't need the damn game to be able to explain itself in order for you to learn how to play the game.
Yeah. Now that was actually something that JG and I had at one point discussed being a part of this stream, but I don't think we necessarily... it's weird to say I don't think we have the time for it, but I don't know if it's something that's just going to come up in the end. He'd been wanting to go back and play all the Mega Man games again. I'm like, well, you know, because I guess there was an anniversary collection or something like that came out recently.
Yeah, like, I think it's available on Steam maybe or something. It's a massive, like, anniversary collection that allows you to play the games as if, like, the ROMs with, like, the fucking flickering and shit.
Yeah. Well, but I was like, I wanted to tell him, it's like, no, I've got a collection already on, like, GameCube that has those games plus, like, you know, a handful of other ones, whatever they had. I think the PC collection is like all of the NES ones. Like, I got one that has all those, and it's got the Super Nintendo one and the PlayStation one, and, you know, you just have it, but then you never get around to using it, which is, I guess, true of a lot of this collection. But, yeah, what are you gonna do?
I mean, you sure, like, instead of him playing Nobunaga's Cheeseburgers, Nobunaga's Ambition, he could spend the 6 hours or so and mow through Mega Man's 1 through 5.
He could. I would want to do that, though. All the old games that I would love to go back and revisit again. Part of maybe that's a terrible thing, but I feel like sometimes I'm losing my intellectual curiosity to learn new things. Even games, to learn new games. Like, nah, I'd just rather go back and beat this one I know again.
There is comfort in, say, like, you're able to come back to Aerobiz Supersonic. It has the nostalgia factor and also has the I already know how to play this factor. Like, yeah. You can relax and talk to me about tangential things while still setting up all of your routes between London and Athens and buying airplanes. You are paying attention, but not as devotedly as you would for a game with which you were less familiar.
The game obviously will unfold differently more or less every time, but it still plays by the same rules, and the rules are rules that you understand. It's like Solitaire, I guess, in a way. It's maybe a little bit more complicated than Solitaire, but obviously you know how to play Solitaire. You know what sort of... It's just a series of motions, honestly, although you're obeying, you know, whatever the rules are. It's funny, I don't even really understand all of the rules to Solitaire. I wouldn't be able to set up what would you even call it? But a board of Solitaire.
Yeah, a Solitaire board, that would work.
I'd forget, like, how many are supposed to be in the far right column, how many are supposed to be in the second right, so on and so on. I would probably not remember how to do that many of those to set up a game, but still, like, if you had it all set up, if you remembered that, then it's not as though you're going to get into a situation with a game of Solitaire where you look at it and be like, well, wait a second. What happens when this card flips over? What am I supposed to... How do I make that card go away? There's not going to be that ever. But just going on now.
Sure, well, I'm following your train of thought.
I so desperately want to get more out of New York, because they're my lifeline, they're my lifeblood, but I can't get anything more out of it. Because there's the 6 months. Mm-hmm. Extra congestion, and who knows how many slots they're actually going to give us.
There is that too. Like, I think it's a random variable.
Before JG will fight over playing Mega Man. There is a certain amount of that, actually, StoneCon, because JG and I, and you talk about old games in a sense of nostalgia, we have nostalgia for a lot of the same games, because our gaming past would involve going to the rental store, because that's what people did. You rented a game for the weekend. You had a game to play for the Friday and the Saturday and the amount of Sunday, whatever it is that you didn't have, that you weren't doing other weekend stuff or, doing your homework or whatever. And you would have that amount of time to play the game. You get as much play time in as you could because you only had that limited amount of time, so you want to try and beat it then. And so, like, you would agree on one, because there's only one Nintendo. There's only one TV that you guys can play on. So you gather around. It was an experience like that. Like, I think JG is more into the old JRPGs than I am, because most of those games were, it's the older sibling, younger sibling situation. And so, like, he's gonna play that game. I will possibly be there and, like, witness it happening, but I'm not actually sitting down and going through, like, the mechanics of setting up your character, getting yourself geared out. Like, I know how it works. I've played them before, but at the same time, it doesn't have the same sort of strong appeal to me.
Sure.
I'm just as happy to sit there.
Now, in this, my experiences do resonate with yours as well. I, being the younger brother by 6, sometimes 7 years, often played that case. We would, rental stores, if my brother and I well behaved, we're allowed to pick one or perhaps even 2 games, like one each, and we would perhaps alternate. Or in the case of a game that we really wanted to play, like say Final Fantasy III, we would sort of like have to devise like times for, or sometimes, it would more often be the case that he would play and I would do my best to try and watch him play, because I loved watching people play games as a kid. And being obnoxious and offering help and trying to tell people how to play the game better, which is part of why my brother would always dislike playing games in front of me.
Well, to head back to this game for just a moment.
Oh boy.
Let's check here. Since we're running up against a wall in North America, we've got to figure out someplace else to expand. Do we do it back home in Southeast Asia?
Well, all those other Southeast Asia cities are relatively, like, undeveloped and weak compared to the ones in Europe, yeah?
Yeah. So,
I mean, that's not me trying to be cruel to 57, 58 Southeast Asia. It's just, the purpose of business is to make money.
But basically, I'm trying to look at the best routes, and I think in Europe, what you're looking at is, in terms of distance, like, because you could set up a flight between London and Paris, and they're 2 of the best economies in Europe.
Right, the problem would be distance. You can't charge much for fare.
You can't charge anything.
Madrid?
Madrid is good, and Moscow theoretically could be good, but is it a good enough city?
I feel as if you've, like, done this Moscow thing before, and as if it's like, meh.
Yeah. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Like, it's like, you only are going to be able to get X number of slots in London. Like, what is the best usage of them? Would it be worth it to compete for Greece against whoever's running the Greece route? Would it be worth it to...
Well, we've already got people in Rome and in Athens. Well, in Athens. Right now we're still negotiating in Rome. Why is that taking so long? I don't know.
I was going to say, like, I didn't see the negotiator guy standing next to the Athens city, which is why I was confused.
Oh, yeah, the route's already in place.
Right? I fucking forgot.
That's one of the ones we actually have.
Like, the fucking, like, it's the circle right there instead of the line through it, and I can fucking see it. I just thought I saw the green airplane, I think that's what it was, and I wonder...
So it's interesting, I guess, depending on the type of strategy game, there are short sit-down strategy games that you would be able to get into then, but I would think that if the only factor, and clearly it isn't the only factor, but if the only factor was what you had youthful nostalgia for from rental game times, I would almost have to think that all younger siblings would be into action games, because you play the action game, you get through, you get your number of continues, and once the continues are expired, well then, older sibling doesn't have any pull. Like, he's already had a shot, didn't go. So, at that point, that would be okay. That's the point where you have to hand over the controller and somebody else gets to try.
Now, we did have more luxury, like eventually, although it wasn't until I got older where when we got more than one television in the house, we were able to have multiple consoles hooked up, and those could very well end up being like in his room or in my room. And so, like, either we would like exchange consoles, or we might rent different games for different consoles, in which case we wouldn't have to worry about sharing. Like, say, like, I rent a game for the Sega Genesis, and he rents one for the Super Nintendo. That were great.
Yeah, I think we only had... Yeah, we were a Nintendo household growing up, so we just had an NES and a Super Nintendo, and I think... Geez, I don't remember how the... Of course, we moved from different houses from time to time, so, like, geez, I don't even remember which would have been what. I guess just for whatever, in terms of... It just ended up being a house rule. You would only rent one of those a weekend anyway, so even if we had more than one. And a lot of times there would be ones that were two-player, and when that would happen, obviously, we'd be street fighting each other or whatever the thing was. Jeez, I remember being better at Street Fighter. Actually, I remember being bad at Street Fighter because I was always not quite as good as JG. But then, apparently I honed my skills enough.
Sure.
Through that,
like
to be reasonably good,
like
at least at one point in time.
Like older people naturally have that, like the experience and like the reflexes, like.
Yeah, there's some of that, and there's just the like basic, like you practice these repetitions enough times. That's pretty. Oh, I feel like Stone Con is getting really into the deep psychological analysis of what's happening to the chat here in terms of people's youths.
Is that what the chat has broken out into now?
Well, no, I think actually no. I think it's just that's apparently what we broke out into.
Yeah.
And I haven't actually split this video in probably a couple hours, so one of these videos is going to be very long.
I
Other
feel
ones
as if you haven't split this at all whenever we've been doing Aerobiz.
Yeah, well, I think I tried once, but that'll be great. It'll be a half-an-hour video, and then like 4-hour video.
They'll appreciate it. They will.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, you'll like it or you won't get it. You'll like it or you'll have nothing.
You will decide on one game to rent, or you will get no game.
There you go. Oh, that was the other one though. I think the one thing that we did occasionally get to play was for a period of time in one place that we lived. We had the Saturday tradition of pizza would get ordered on Saturday. We would get the pizza, but we'd get it carry out because I guess they didn't want to pay the delivery person. So we get a carry out, and the carry out for the pizza was right next to the supermarket. And while our mother was waiting for the pizza, JG and I would get to go to the supermarket next door, which had a WWE WrestleFest game, or WrestleFest machine. And depending on whether or not we had enough money for one player or two players, or, we were just going to sit back and watch somebody else play, you could get some WrestleFest going, which was a pretty nice... I don't know if you're familiar with WrestleFest,
sure, I've
the
seen
arcade game.
WrestleFest before.
But that was an amusing one too. I think JG also ended up having that one at like one of his college lounges. They'll have I think the ones he remember him telling me that he played a lot in college were WrestleFest and Samurai Showdown 2.
Sure, Samurai Showdown 2. I'm very familiar with that.
I am less familiar with that one. I think maybe, I don't know if it was just like by the time I got to I don't know if like when he went to college people just didn't bring game consoles with them, but by the time I got to college people did, so I didn't go out to arcades so much because like somebody had a PlayStation, somebody had an N64, somebody had, of course by that time emulation was at least up to the 8-bit era and was beginning to chip away at 16-bit.
Sure.
That was as bad. Yeah, because I guess my first year of college, like the thing that they were selling in all the college bookstores as the extra fancy thing was the original iMac. The colorful plastic roundy ones that were, it was fancy because it was an all-in-one unit. I know, it's science.
Amazing.
Yes, who knew?
I will say that not all that different. I brought my Nintendo 64 when I went to college in 2006.
Oh yeah, everybody wanted to play GoldenEye.
And no, I didn't own a PlayStation 2 then. Yeah, that's... I owned a Nintendo 64 with Mario Party 2, Mario Kart 64, GoldenEye.
Oh god.
I don't think I have any other I probably have like another one or two.
Well, you had the Nintendo 64 games then, I guess, other than like having Super Mario 64.
Yeah, I
And,
didn't have Super Mario 64.
Yeah, but like that's the kind of thing where if you had that as
Super
a
Smash
bundle,
Brothers, the original. There we go. Those are my 4.
Oh, I actually have probably played more of that than I have any of the other ones, even though everybody goes crazy about Brawl or Melee or. It's like, no, that's too many characters. There's too much stuff going on.
Yeah.
It's too many gimmicks. I just want like a handful of weapons, a stage that does not scroll all over Hell and Gone, and just fight guys.
Sure. My brother and I shipped together to purchase the Nintendo 64, him more so than me because he was so much older, shortly after the console was released. Most of the games we played for that we rented, but we ended up, they're pretty much ones that I bought with like the core 4, Mario Party 2, GoldenEye, Mario Kart 64, and Super Smash Brothers, and those, look at Cairo, they're beautiful once again.
Yeah. It has become a hotspot again. Let's just not hope for the Mideast War 3.
I know. It sounds like some fucking like WrestleMania naming right there. Like,
They did used to have a 60-man battle royal in WCW that was called World War 3. Well, they had War Games was the double ring enclosed cage match that was like 2 different teams of 4. I think.
Right, but there used to be like some triple ring setups too.
Yeah, there was like a double or possibly triple. Yeah, maybe it was a triple ring, but they had a battle royal with 3 rings, 60 participants, and they didn't come in one at a time. Everybody started at the beginning.
I know.
So,
I find that shit like so cool, and I think sometimes like with all the talent that the WWE has, like it'd be great. Like, God forbid we give WCW any credit, but to just have like one of those style matches, like just to like say like, wow, this match style sucks, or whatever.
But World War 3, and I think they did it 3 times, and twice they did it in Norfolk, and we went to one of those.
Okay.
And I think that ended up coming up in the stream earlier. I can't remember whether you were around at that point, but it was the first one of 2 times we ended up ever seeing Big Show. I guess he was still wrestling as the Giant, but
Right. Paul White,
he picked up Rey Mysterio. Like he could essentially palm Rey Mysterio Jr.'s torso.
Mm-hmm.
And just picked him up and threw him out of the ring to eliminate him like a lawn dart. just picked him up and just chucked him with one hand. And, we didn't have the best seats. We had good enough seats. But we could sort of tell. It's like, geez, this is just a massive, insane-looking, huge dude.
Right, like he's like made out of stone, like not like chiseled out of rock, but like he's a boulder.
Well, I mean, the Giant, I mean, it was just that, like, he literally, like, they have the whole, like, they're the ideas and fantasy of, like, different sort of species of humanoid people, like, like, there's dwarves, and they're, like, a slightly smaller person, and, like, he really did sort of seem like,
In the
You're
gimmick,
just like
then,
one
of
other
course, by
evolution.
calling him the Giant was to imply that he was the son of Andre the Giant.
that he was Andre's son, yeah. But it was just like, no. And then, I think, and then earlier this year, it was a very nice gift. JG got us tickets to a house show
I
that
remember
were
you mentioning that.
really, like, they were not the front row, but they were, like, second, third. They were, like, floor level. It was this amazing thing, and, like, yeah, Big Show. Like, I could attempt to shout and hold a conversation with Big Show. Big Show could hear what I would have been yelling at him, but
Please retire, clap, clap.
And nobody was yelling that.
Now, out of curiosity, who was headlining that house show?
What was the main event? I do know that he wasn't the main event, but the main event was a run-in to break up whatever was going on from, you know, the guy that I don't hate as much as everyone else in the world. Oh, hang on a second. Was that a knock at the door?
Oh.
I think it was.
Oh boy.
JG, you're here just in time to remind me who main evented the house show that we were at. Oh, it was a tag match. That's right. It was Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose versus
See,
whoever would have been two random singles heels at that point.
Yeah, Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose for a long while have been like split off from like Team A like house show and like Team B house show, which is why I asked.
Okay. Jeez, yeah, I haven't been keeping up on a week-to-week basis, really.
I don't either.
Even on the like pay-per-views, because like I think
No, those I keep up with.
Yeah, I mean I'll try and catch them when I can, but of course.
Sure.
It's like when JG and I get together, what we end up doing when we have lunch is watching an episode from the most recent season of Lucha Underground, so I'm probably more familiar with the goings-on of Lucha Underground than I am with...
Which focuses more on, the wrestling storytelling, especially the storytelling inside the ring. I enjoy that more than WWE's overblown storylines.
Well... at this point, we have to figure out whether or not we're going to be conscious or awake for it at the time. It's just that I think we got a deal on one ticket. So, like, we had essentially one free ticket, so I'm catching up with JG on his entrance to the place here. Well, shit, it's April 1959, so we got through 4 whole years of a 20-year scenario.
Well, we would have done better had... we just not spiraled into enjoying ourselves, Bobo, by conversing about things tangential and not even tangential to Aerobiz Supersonic.
Yes. Well, I tell you what, I'm pretty sure JG will have had the PS4 here. He's got Nobunaga's Ambition Sphere of Influence. I can see it right there. He's got a number of other PS4 titles. He just brought what he had.
Man, that is some immense ambition to be bringing so many other games too. Wow.
His ambition cannot be stopped.
Jesus, he's the most progressive of the Vulture household.
That's right. He has such interest in new technologies. All right, so of course well, actually, I don't know. I'm trying to think. I believe I'm going to have to temporarily shut off and restart the stream again once we have the PS4 out and set up, because I think I'm going to have to change the settings of the capture device. Although, let me see. I've actually stopped it and started it since I last had to use it, so... Yeah, JG is back, guys. Oh, everybody's all excited. JG is here. Everybody, JG.
That's right. He's here to carry the flagship. Oh.
Would not start, device failed to run. Nope, I am gonna have to restart this thing. I'm sorry, what are you saying?
Who's around right now?
Let's see. There's a Night Killer, there's Master Reaper, there's Deck Neg, there's Bread Boy, A Thing, Shoot to Maim. If you're wondering who's actually talking to me, it's Grimmeth.
Yeah, he hasn't been able to escape me. I've been here.
You've not escaped him. There's no escape. He's going to chase after you at a very slow speed because he's still using a pike. But he's going to chase after you.
That fucking supply captain. I'll get him.
One of these days. If only you could have your delightful feather fans. Well, they weren't even feather fans. They were just blowing away, dusting away the breeze fans.
I think I'll stick with the laser coupons.
Yeah. All right. So, what are you... Oh, you're setting up charger over there. Charge runs out. Okay. All right. So this is going to be how we do it.
This is how you do.
All right. So let me see. What is here that is plugged in right now that I can unplug? This this is the power supply to the Dreamcast that I bought at a Goodwill the other week for like $30. I mean, it was complete. Had 2 controllers, and there was a game inside it.
Is
so
the disc
extra
reader
score.
functional?
Yeah, it was reading. It was a little loud, but you know, not the disc reader. Just like it had a fan.
Okay.
So you know, maybe I need to blow it out.
Dreamcast was never impressive for me.
Just bring an HDMI cable, but I figured it might be simpler to just plug it into the back. But yeah, here's a cable that we moved to.
Okay, so you have an HDMI there. You have.
You said there was another cable that came with, and I think you're right, but I couldn't find it.
Well, let's see here. If you set it to, you know what? It does not have the same inputs. So, yeah, we would have to be using the HDMI regardless. Now then, I just plug this in, and it goes to here. Let's find here. Yeah, so everyone, you now get to hear me talk my way through
the hypest chord
setting a
swapping action
PS4.
available to anyone on Hitbox right now.
Oh, well, it's possible. I don't know what other chord swapping is happening on Hitbox. I would not even want to speculate.
Come on, rampant speculation. It's pretty fun.
I don't know that anything rampant is ever that great. All right,
Come
so
on.
let's stay.
Use
Let's
your
stay.
Beijing
Your imagination. Oh no, you're fading away. You don't know the Beijing. What was it? Was it the Beijingity? Was it the Beijingity?
Beijingity.
I think it was the Beijingity.
It was the Beijingity.
But it's hard to know.
Oh, Jesus.
Time and details all flow away.
With the wet dick.
With wet dick, yes. They flow away with the flow of the wet dick. Lovely. Alright, so I have an HDMI cable. Hooray! So let's plug that into a thing. Not a thing that's actually out there on the chat. Hello, a thing.
Shout out to a thing.
Shouting out to a thing. Actually, maybe JG is right. Maybe it is easier to take
No.
this HDMI cable. I know.
Don't give your older brother a concession. You give him an inch, he'll take a mile.
Well, that may be true, but in this case, maybe if I can just take these few inches of this. And besides, it just feels extra scandalous to plug a Nintendo HDMI cable into a Sony PS4. I suppose, yes. If I was... Wait. Oh, right, East meets Watts. If I'd been plugging a 360 in there, or an Xbox One or two. Okay. Guys, to the stream, to the chat right now. I'm about to shut off the stream for a number of seconds. Hopefully it will only take. It may graduate out to a number of minutes if something is not going quite to the plan. But we'll find out about that. Just a moment here, guys.
I will attempt to maintain order.
Well, you're not going to be heard on the chat because the stream will be on. Oh, right, but you'd have to get off of your bed where you're all posing all sexily.
It's okay. I already got out of bed. I sat back down in the chair.
Oh, you heard JG was going to be here and thought this is serious business.
Well, for now, I'll go back to bed soon.
All right. Hang on there, streamsters. And there we go. Let's move OBS to the tiny crappy monitor. Let's move the chat over to the tiny crappy monitor. Let's move this Skype window over to the tiny crappy monitor in case it needs to be changed up somehow. System sounds I could probably just close. Now that the stream is off, I should be able to start the capture device. Oh, actually, yeah, can you turn on the PS4 for me? Thank you. Then, hopefully, if I start the capture device... starting device. Please wait. Your the pod did not start. Oh, because I. Okay. So I stopped the stream. I did not actually stop OBS. Or no, I never stopped the stream.